Thanks for joining us on TVC News at 4. We'll begin with the report that African Union has suspended Niger Republic from all its activities following the military coup there and told its members to avoid any actions that might legitimize the junta. The coup last month has caused alarm among Western allies and democratic African states who fear it could allow terror groups active in the Sahel region to expand their reach and give Russia a foothold to increase its influence. The AU Peace and Security Council said in a communique that it had noted the decision to activate an ECOWAS standby force and asked the AU Commission to assess the economic, social and security implications of deploying such a force. It reiterated calls for the coup leaders to immediately release elected President Mohamed Bazoum, who has been detained since the coup, and return to their barracks. Meanwhile, ECOWAS envoy to Niger Republic says there are hopes of a diplomatic solution to the political standoff in the country without necessarily resorting to the use of force. Nigeria's former military president, Abdul Salami Abubakar, said this after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu, where he briefed him on the outcome of his mission to the landlocked West African country. General Abubakar, retired, had met with the military coup leaders and the deposed President Mohamed Bazoum after the first effort failed due to the resistance put up by the country's military. The ECOWAS envoy said the announcement of a 3-year transition plan by the military junta is solely their position, but he believes President Bola Tinubu, as chairman of ECOWAS, will consult with other members of the Authority of Heads of State, and talks will also continue towards resolving the standoff.
We started talking there. We made their own points, and then I made my report to the chairman of the ECOWAS Heads of State and President. He will now consult with his colleagues, and then the ding-dong starts, and we'll get somewhere, hopefully. Hopefully, diplomacy will see the better of this thing. Nobody wants to go to war. It doesn't pay anybody, but then again, you know, our leaders have said if all fails, and I don't think all will fail, we'll get somewhere, we'll get out of this mess.
Thank you.
Here in Nigeria, police in Delta State have arrested a 28-year-old car dealer who allegedly specializes in buying stolen vehicles, changes the particulars to resell to unsuspecting buyers. While parading the suspect alongside others involved in robbery in Abia and environs, the police public relations officer of the Delta Command, Bright Edafe, asked car owners to register their vehicles in Central Motor Registry of Police. We have details in this report.
This is Ebrumede Police Station, Abia local government area of Delta State, where these 5 suspects are being paraded for various crimes. One of the suspects is this 28-year-old car dealer who allegedly buys and sells stolen vehicles. The Delta State Police spokesman reveals how he was apprehended.
A kidnapped victim who escaped from the kidnappers then, he was kidnapped around that July. While they were on their way, the vehicle ran out of fuel, and the victim somehow managed to escape, abandoning his own vehicle, this white GLK, with them. He reported at the police station. We have been working on seeing how to recover the said vehicle and arrest the perpetrators, that is the kidnappers. As God will have it, one Junior Godwin, aged 28 years, was arrested. One thing about this said suspect is that he is a major car dealer, but this majorly in stolen vehicles. And what he does is, once they have gotten the vehicle, they take a picture of the vehicle, take the registration number and send to him. Even before the vehicle arrives, he will go to licensing office, change the registration details of this vehicle, even go as far as changing the number of the vehicle. So one will wonder why a vehicle that has already been registered can easily be re-registered with all the details changed.
For those who have encountered robbery while on commercial tricycles in Warri and environs, these suspects are responsible.
Who get the Gadaga among 3 of them?
This my brother.
This victim escaped from kidnappers.
Is when I
came out from the car, removed what they put in my eye, and started wanted to run. The other one, I cracked the gun and I rushed him. Me and him in the gutter started exchanging punch.
Was it night?
Yes, by they kidnapped me around 8:30, but I escaped around 12.
The Delta State Commissioner of Police, Wale Abbas, has adopted proactive technique and community policing in tackling insecurity since assumption of duties 3 months ago. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News, Ebrumede, Delta State.
Let's talk health now. Nasarawa state government has commenced the sensitization of residents on the need for young girls to get vaccinated in order to eradicate the human papilloma virus in the state. This is in line with the federal government's plan to vaccinate young girls between the ages of 9 and 14 years against the infection. Gordon Agwam has more.
The human papilloma virus is a sexually transmitted infection which is a major cause of cervical cancer among women in the country. To tackle this head-on, the federal government approved the commencement of the first batch of vaccinations against the virus in 16 states, and this includes Nasarawa. It is in furtherance to this that the Nasarawa state government is organizing this sensitization workshop for representatives of the Nigeria Medical Association, Nigeria Labour Congress, Nigeria Union of Journalists, religious associations, among others. This is geared towards enlightening them on the essence of the vaccination and stepping it down to residents of the state.
We organize this so that the stakeholders should meet, we close rank, we discuss, we explain to them how important it is so that the implementation is at the corner. After the meeting, the engagement meeting, they are meant to go back to their respective community also to enlighten them.
Participants at the workshop are committed to stepping down this information to all nooks and crannies of the state.
Some of our parents lack the knowledge of allowing their children to be vaccinated. Thereby, when health officers reach to them for vaccination, they deny them the opportunity to vaccinate their children. So we have to get our Muslim brothers and sisters, even at the church, give them the knowledge that vaccination is not killing.
We spoke about drama. We also do that. You know, these are subtle, entertaining ways that can get to people to embrace whatever plans, whatever programs, you know, the government has for us.
The vaccination will help eradicate cervical cancer and reduce mortality rate among women in the state. Godwin Agwam, TVC News, Lafia.
Elsewhere, the National Emergency Management Agency has distributed relief materials to some victims of the 2022 flood in Kwara State. The distribution of the relief materials was flagged off by the State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak, who was represented by his deputy Kayode Alabi. Items distributed to the beneficiaries included agricultural inputs, food items, sewing machines, grinding machines, mosquito nets, and mattresses. Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Ahmed, represented by Head of the Monitoring and Evaluation of the agency, Ephraim Tony, said the federal government approved the intervention specifically for people affected by the 2022 flood disasters and those classified as the most vulnerable persons across the country.
We recall that our administration has done similar things at different times and places where our people have been victims of natural disaster. Indeed, we commend the effort of the federal government through NEMA for this timely intervention. I therefore urge all beneficiaries to judiciously use the items.
Governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, has announced measures to cushion the effects of the current economic situation in the state after the removal of subsidy. Governor Soludo made the announcement in a statewide broadcast in Agulu after declaring open the first Anambra State Executive and Legislative Joint Retreat. He announced an additional non-taxable cash award of 12,000 naira added to the 10% salary increase effected by his administration in 2023 to be paid to over 59,000 civil servants and pensioners in the state with effect from the 1st of September to December 2023. The governor also announced tax exemption for Okada riders, artisans, barrow pushers, hawkers, small businesses operating below 100,000 naira. That's 20% reduction on IGR payment by bus drivers.
In addition to the salary increase, we will be paying every pensioner and every public servant in the employment of Anambra State government and the 21 local governments, and that's approximately 59,000 persons, for the period September to December 2023, a monthly flat non-taxable cash award of 12,000 naira each. Anambra State government will be distributing rice to over 300, I will even dare to say we're targeting about 400,000 households in the coming weeks across the 326 wards in Anambra.
That's TVC News at 4.